Okay, I think I will end this polling, and I will share it with you. So far, it's a good answer, and we'll share the result with you guys. Okay, so all of us have LinkedIn account. Uh, okay, now anybody? Okay, if you don't hear my voice, please let me know. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Wonderful. Okay. Now we have few announcement to make. If anybody who was in my earlier class, some of them will be repeated, but I don't think there is a problem with that. Now, the only thing that few of these announcements, we need to make once in a while these announcements to make sure that you guys are on the same field. Now, please feel free to have your camera live if you want to, if there is the bandwidth allowing. So it's a good way of getting to know you. It's okay if you want to eat, you walk away, you do other things. I have no issue with you. So just have your camera if you want to have it alive. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Um, some of you guys are brave, which is very well. Wonderful. Now, that would help me so much to, to be very proactive with you. Now, just to finalize the classes, I mean, if you're eating them, it's okay. You remind me that I need to eat too. So that's wonderful. Uh, Sometimes I forget to eat. Hello. Uh, Now, the question here, we need to make a few announcements because I need to put you on the stage of the new era that we are going through it without knowing. Um, See, with the COVID-19 situation, we all have all the business, the lifestyle, everything changed now. So I need you to adjust to that. So once you go to the market, you already it's adjusted to it. So the whole questions here, I have last week I created some collaboration tools for you guys, and I will show them to you. And these I need you to go on these through these collaboration tools to make sure that you are working as a group, because there is a big part of the your assignment, your marks is depend on the collaboration that you will have. Now, there we did very well in especially in this class in developing these group team, but some of us came late in the class, or they were not accepted, and then they got accepted, so that's the reason they are not part of the group. Now, the whole issue is here is the fact that if we keep repeating of who is going to be in a group, then we would not be covering so much of our work. And our goal is really to get you on a good system that it's going to be useful for you in the market. Now, I'm glad to know that 100% of you guys are they have an account in the LinkedIn, but I'm not sure how many of you guys is on a daily usage of it, which is fine. At least you have an account, you can be connected to the business community. Try to utilize this business community to allocate a job for you, to possibly get connected to others, and share information. This is how you get to know. Like I'm developing a habit now. Every day I put a copy, one copy of my one of the certification that I got on LinkedIn, and I make an announcement. I say every day a new one, because I did have so much trainings that I collected, lots of training. So I thought like it's a good idea just to stay within to show that I do have all the tools. I'm a little bit advanced in the case of the collaboration tools, the project management, the methodology of project management, the business, the business analysis, the marketing, and showing that through, staying through the LinkedIn. Now, just to finalize the group setting, because next week we might get into proposals, working on your final assignment. Time passed very quickly, so if we don't work now, you might end up, it's a team work. So sometimes not everybody is ready to do the work for some reason. So this is why this week, by end of this week, we need to finalize the group. Now, every member, every group should be made of 5, maximum 6 people. Now, there is tools that I already made. I made a Padlet, I made a Facebook, and Yammer. There's other tools that's going to be for also for collaborations. So utilize these tools. I will send you the links for them, and utilize these tools. And these tools will be so much, useful for cutting so much time from learning. There is there is two part, is collaboration and learning. So we need to learn together, help each other to understand the material, to move on with it. So if the question keeps repeated, I repeat it every week, it's going to take so much time from us. But if I answer it once on Padlet, on Moodle, which is our alpha website, you will find it on the Facebook that I created especially for this class, and on Yammer, which is another type of educational Facebook that's built by Microsoft. Not too long is launched and is geared toward colleges and universities. So I will send you these links, and please, if you don't know your group, you just make an announcement there. And once you make an announcement, your group will find you. If you're not a member of a group, you just make an announcement, so a group will take you in. If you are a group made of 3 people, you make an announcement saying we are only made of 3 people and we need 2 people there. If you, by all this activity, end of the week, if you're not if you're not managing 5 people in a group, send me an email. So that's where I can come in and support you, see why you are 4 only, so I can add 1 person to you, or I leave you as a 4. But make sure that utilizing all these tools, that's important for you. Now, so this is where I want you to really share all these tools. Now, I'm just going to be very quick to show you these tools before we start the class, probably lectures. So let me, okay, I'll share the screen. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can write. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is really, you go to, there is what I built later on, once we get a license for a Dropbox, I will also put the classes on the Dropbox. So you will find them on YouTube, and you will find them also on the Dropbox. But I prefer YouTube because it's open for everybody. But here is things that I built for you guys is the YouTube. There's a always the class will be launched there. The Padlet, and please make sure you go to the Padlet. I will send you all these links. And in the Padlet, uh, I need you to go to the course that you are doing and just write the comment that you want to write on the bottom of this thing. So once you add in there, you just will find, whatever your comment, you write it down here, and I will look at it and I approve it or disapprove it. So if you, for example, if you write something, bad word or something, I cannot approve it. So if you are not a member of a group, you just write, I'm not a member of a group, and just say, okay, so I need to be a member of a group. If you are a group of 3 people, say, we are having one empty spot. Please, anybody who is not a member, just let me know. So if you are a 3 or 4, so I need a group to be made of 4 or 5 people. So this is where I want you to do. So this one thing. The second thing, I will answer your questions too. That I want you to do is the fact that, just give me a second. Um, Here is another one that you can add on and start right on it is Yammer. I will send you the link for the Yammer. And I created also a Facebook. So just in case you're not part of the Facebook, just add it on there, and you will see all the stories. Facebook, because I added in, Facebook starts sending me people that I might know. So you don't need to look at that. Uh, Probably the Yammer thing also here, the Yammer thing, which is belong to the universe for colleges and universities, and you just log in, and you can always. I will send you the link. I'm not going to send an email. I might end up sending you direct emails, but um, this is one of the Microsoft tool, which is you have a license for it. So you shouldn't be having any problem with that. So I will stop sharing these. So please make sure that you are utilizing these tools to save us uh, a time, one thing. But the most important thing, because of the COVID-19, collaboration tools will be your main tools in the future. You have no options but to utilize these collaboration tools. Now, in the other things, it also gives you the freedom of working from anywhere you want to, any place you choose to work. I've noticed so many pictures that you have is you taking a picture outside, beside a tree, beside the flowers. Yeah, it seems to me, or the snow behind you, or something like that. Seems to me you like outside. So it would be nice if you can work outside. So look at this current situation. It's something gave you a better option to be more free, to travel, to live outside in a country if you choose to work from anywhere you want to, from your home, beside your family, anywhere. So this is if you know how to use these collaboration tools. One thing, if you know how to use these tools that available, there's so many of them, but the famous one like Facebook, LinkedIn, I don't know, KGG, there's so many tools that's in the market that you can utilize them. And for the business reason, uh, try to get exposed to them, and it helps so much. Um, Also for doing the research, for doing your final proposal, it helps to go on know what's information, collecting the secondary data or Wikipedia information or from Google all these information. So on an, because you're gonna start working on mostly utilizing internet, less human physical interference. Now, feel free, and I would love to see you guys live. But just in case if you cannot, your bandwidth is not helping, so make you can have your picture on. Sometimes I myself get camera shy, and I put a picture on. And sometimes because I want to eat something or drink something, I can put a picture on. Feel free whenever you how you feel about it. Um, Let me know if you have any question. And also, by the way, use this Zoom group chat to talk among yourself. I don't have an issue with that. Um, Use Padlet to set up the groups. Use Yammer to work on it. Use the Facebook, whichever your team prefer, likes it. Please do that. And it is a good record for me to see whether you are being active or not. Once again, to announce the groups, you are the one in charge of finalizing the 5 members of your group. If it's 4, let me know why 4. You can have up to 6, 7 unacceptable. That's one thing. So you need to finalize all these things. Now, you utilize the collaboration tools to do that. Second, and we will move on with these collaboration tools to not to share the information with each other. We are here, all of us learning together. It's a team, and trust me, this is how I evaluate things. Eh, don't worry about failing, because entrepreneur supposed to fail. If he doesn't fail, he's not trying enough. So it failing, there is a this is the first time you're probably going to hear it. You're going to get a mark on failing also. So don't worry about it. Tell whatever on your mind, come up with your ideas, because once you are an entrepreneur, you are in that stage to come up with ideas, to make sure these ideas are very well fit, utilizing the tools of entrepreneurship, and do it. So, without further ado, um, I hope next week, we will be less talking about how the group and who is in members in the group, and we will be talking about more sessions. Now, one more thing, once your group is set up, your team needs to talk about the assignment, the proposal of your assignment, which product you're going to work on it, or what are your services. And the second thing, next class, we will have hopefully a quiz. And the quiz, probably I will give you 6 questions, answer 4 of them. And it's open-end questions. It's not going to be yes or no or multiple choices. You write whatever you understand. You want to make sure you're probably going to take a look at the discussion questions end of the chapters. These are probably a good indications that can help you. Now, we started at let's have a short video, and we will take it from there. I will share the screen with you. Um, Let me see which. Okay. Now, let me start the video again. Okay.
Today, it's more important than ever to have a plan for the future, and one that is flexible. The business environment is more dynamic than ever, with technology helping lead the revolution on how companies operate and provide outstanding service to their customers. Even with many jobs lost overseas, new opportunities exist for established companies as well as entrepreneurs willing to take calculated risks. Companies like Redbox have responded to these opportunities by developing successful business models that understand customer needs and respond to them.
Redbox got started as trying to solve a problem. How come I can't get movies where I shop every day? And how come movies are so expensive?
McDonald's had a real problem. Their breakfast business was good, their lunch business was really good, but their dinner business was a little bit slow. And it turns out that people rent movies between 4 o'clock in the afternoon and 9 o'clock at night. And so they thought, if we put a movie rental kiosk in our McDonald's restaurants, it may help our slowest time of business.
Redbox offers customers low-price rentals of DVDs, Blu-ray, and video games through their network of more than 27,800 standalone kiosks. These kiosks are usually located where customers shop, such as their local grocery store or neighborhood pharmacy, or other places they value and frequent. To make it even more convenient for customers, Redbox also allows customers to reserve items online. If your nearby kiosk does not have an item of interest in stock, you can search their database for the closest kiosk that does.
How do you convince retail partners to put this kiosk in your store?
And so we found a partner, and that partner was Coinstar. They already had their Coinstar machines inside many of the grocery stores, many of the mass merchants.
Their understanding of the marketplace and their relationship with key retailers helped us take that next step.
This year we will do over $1.5 billion in revenue, just Redbox alone.
The success of Redbox didn't just occur without a plan. They understood a need within the market and created a strategy that was responsive to that need.
There is an element of luck and timing to all businesses, but in this particular case, a great deal of it has been an execution.
The way we built this model was to start with, can you make a single kiosk profitable? Then can you make a region of kiosks profitable? And then the country full of kiosks profitable. We never took the next step until we could prove the previous one.
Redbox provides goods and services to consumers at an affordable price and in a convenient manner. A good is a tangible product, in this case, DVDs, Blu-rays, and video games. The service is Redbox making them available at convenient locations or allowing their customers to reserve a film so it's there when they come to get it.
The risks for starting Redbox.
Okay. So I think you've seen probably the major part of the about the Redbox and how it works. Now, let me know if you have a question. But without further ado, we will probably we'll take we'll try to finish the chapter 2 today. Okay. Now, last week we spoke about the entrepreneurship perspective from individual. and we spoke about the fact that you can be as an individual, as an entrepreneur. But here we're going to talk about corporate entrepreneurship and how a company can be an entrepreneur in the same time. We always thought about that entrepreneurship is an individual thing, but sometimes it is could be a company entrepreneurship. Now, so there is growing interest in the entrepreneurship in the companies. So companies are trying to get on this to be part of the the trend, and because they're fully aware that entrepreneurship is a way of the future. Companies who they don't come up with new ideas, or is not expanding, or it's not diversifying in their product, they might be, doomed to die or to be part of other companies. You will be very surprised to know that when Nokia started, it started as a company that cut trees, and they're involved into making woods. And then they moved, and the last thing that we know about Nokia is the fact they are creating mobiles. But Nokia is they're dying when it comes to mobiles, but they are very big when it comes to the switches and towers. So imagine they started cutting trees and making papers out of these trees, and now they are into telecommunication. In that time, nobody thought it's going to be having like this. The other thing, like M3, if you look at the M3, it is like a one of the big product that everybody is using. It as Post-it, this yellow stickers that we all use on daily base, and these are it took 10 years for a company like 3M
Were significant.
to come
The first
like
couple of
this.
years, we had
Now,
some red ink. It took us a while before we turned profitable.
The biggest
Okay.
challenge was convincing McDonald's that renting movies was
Just
a positive for their business.
Capital was always
okay. Okay. I apologize. We're supposed to do this the second part later on. Um, so we'll go back to the chapter, which is this one. So what here, this is why companies and corporate they establishing their entrepreneurship. So there is companies now who is you go there and you see them very flexible, very much open, and they are into entrepreneurship, um, and increasing the social. And the reason is they are losing lots of shall I say good qualified employees, because good qualified employees, they see themselves that what they can contribute to themselves is better than contributing to a company. Steve Jobs is one of these people who left Xerox to establish iPhone. So they lost this person because he's an entrepreneur. So if this where is company saying we don't want to lose these good ones to entrepreneur. Now keep in mind, with all these corporate establishing departments of entrepreneurship, still people getting away from it. This is one of the things that probably keeps me in any company that I want to work for. If they are they want to expand, they want to change, they want to move on with their life. If they are sticking with a certain box of working, it's very boring for me. I would not, continue with them. I always like to see a company that's willing to expand where I can help them. But in the same time, if when they are expanding, and because of me, I'm expanding and helping them to expand. If I don't get paid for that, after a while, I probably would not continue with them because entrepreneurs needs to see revenues, and a flat salary is not a revenue. It is as I said, is another way of a slavery. Um, so, um, so that they wanted to adopt this spiritual of entrepreneurs into the business. So they have developed a corporate entrepreneurship, uh, and they did, for example, consist of 4 elements in it. They wanted to new business ventures, or expanding, or horizontal or vertical. They wanted to have organizational innovations. They wanted to do self renewals and being a proactive in the market, because if they don't do that, they might be doomed to, to lose their position in the market. Now, if you have any questions, please write to me and I will be glad to answer it. Um, just to break away, you are requested to finalize your team members this week. Anybody who doesn't is not part of a team member, make an announcement on the tools that I'm going to send to you. And anybody who's less than 5 people, a team, one of them make an announcement. They said we have 1 seat, so they can join in. So I'm leaving it up to you, in your hand, to finalize these things. Back to the class. So the strategic orientation and the commitment to opportunity. Now, both entrepreneur and strategy have important implication for the performance of the firm. So you usually need an entrepreneur to help you to expand your business. And at the same time, you might have okay, might have somebody who is probably help you into this entrepreneurship. Now, so that's the reason you see the companies are looking for people who is really non-traditional, uh, who looks at the growth than as people who is deliver. So it's all depend on the management and the company itself. Now here we're going to speak about how we can convert a company from a regular management company to entrepreneurship company. Now, keep in mind, in the last class I said you can be an entrepreneur, but also you can be a part of a company, which is they have an entrepreneurship, and they don't have to be a big company. It could be a small one made of 2 people, or it could be a very large one. As a matter of fact, the smaller it is, the better for you, because the study shows up that the smaller, the less uh, bureaucratic the company. Now, an entrepreneurial orientation toward it is a commitment, um, and of resources, and these resources can be you know set up for expansion, for making it but the typical companies who has a mentality of entrepreneurship are usually are the ones who is um, uh, they are not the traditional ones. They are don't believe in you have to own the resources to be an entrepreneur. You can utilize other people's resources. And as I said in the last class, that you don't need to have all the resources to be a good entrepreneur. You can utilize other resources. Um, uh, so the traditional managed firms is usually are companies who is really interested into uh, I'm just checking. Okay. Now I can see once again people saying I don't have a member in the group. I gave you the tool to find out how you're gonna join that group. I will send you the links of these tools, and I'm expecting you to utilize it, because utilizing means a part of the class participation. And this is tools that can, first of all, solve the first problem. If you don't have members of the group, you can go there and find a group that can take you in. That's one thing. If you have a group members of 3 people, you can go there and make it 4 people or 5 people. So this is something that you need take the responsibility of it. Okay. So
Sir, how we can send you our group member names?
yes, but by all means, anytime you have 5 or 6 people, send me your group team. By end of this week, if you end up with only 4, you let me know so I can find you 5th one, or you go to the I'm not going to find you a 5th one. I want to see you that you're going on a Padlet, or you're going on the Yammer or a Facebook that's going to say and announce that you are missing one person. You are looking to have
Like
one more.
we have to send you mail.
You send me a mail with the 5 or 6 people once your group is completed. But if you are missing person, you make that announcement on the Padlet or on all of them, Yammer, Facebook, and Padlet, and whomever who doesn't have a team, he can say, okay, I can join you. Because let's start with this, a small trial of collaboration. Because later on, we're going to use this collaboration tool to share knowledge, share information, and move on with a final assignment.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, please, Rajiv.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Actually, I was on work and just I free up. That's why I joined class just now. Sorry for that.
No problem. Here is one thing. This class, there is 2 things I need to tell you. One, for the attendance, don't worry about it, because I can download. I will download it every end of every class, and
Okay, sir.
save it and the attendance is available on a Zoom. It tells me which day, what time you come in, what time you left, whether you've been there or not. That's one.
Okay, sir. Okay,
So,
thank you for that. And one thing more, so I don't have to mark any like in the chat box that I am present or.
no. There is nothing. The Zoom will do that for me.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
And sir, one thing more, like last week you told about to make group.
Yes.
How many people should be in a group?
Okay, good question. And please, you bring in a very good question, but you also bring in a repeated question.
Oh, sorry, sir.
No problem. No, I love it, because it's a good case you are saying it. Because, this is why I built the Padlet. This is why I built, I have a Padlet and a Facebook and Yammer, because there where all your team will be collaborating with each other. So if you don't have a team, you just announce on the Padlet, say, oh, I don't have a team. I'm free. Somebody with 3 people in a group will write to you and says, okay, you can join us. You know what I mean? It is a good startup to do a collaboration. And the reason is because the life became technically collaborated.
Yeah. So, sir, like,
no more one-to-one collaboration.
Yeah.
We don't know if we're going to go back to the classes.
So like just we have made the group, so we have to text the name of the group to you,
Yes,
or
when they are 5 people or
okay,
6 people, you can send it to me. If you still
okay,
four people or 3 people, you're still going to use the Padlet to say, I don't have enough members. And
yeah.
go there and
Okay, sir. I have the members and I made the group and I'll mail you.
wonderful, wonderful.
Or just have to tell you today, just now in the.
Okay, okay, good, excellent. Let me just,
Okay, sir. Sorry.
no problem.
So group is the first name is Rajveer Singh, me.
Yeah.
The second name is Harshdeep Singh.
You don't need to tell me because you send it that as an email.
Okay, sir. I'll
Because,
send you.
because there is 25 people so far, and they're going to reach up to 30 people in the class.
Yes, sir.
So we need to focus on being more productive using these collaboration tools. Collaboration tools are tools that takes all the things that away from us. So if you have anybody of you, if you have a question and you ask, and somebody of your students will be answering this question, and a third one goes on that tool and looks at the questionnaires and looks at the answer, that can save you and save me and save another 20 people from asking the similar question. So it is a collaboration of informational, collaboration of work, and feel free to use it. In the old days, I used to use Facebook, but I think Facebook that will expose your numbers and lots of data. So here we can use, tools that it's gonna be in the market forever. And with this situation today, everybody has to use these collaboration tools. Now, I just want to give you an example. Most of you guys are on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great place to find a job, great place to know business people, a great place to meet other business orientation. Facebook is a great place to meet, I don't know, social um, groups. Each of these tools, fully utilize them. Would be wonderful if you can do that. So that's a very important thing, to just utilize them. So please feel free to utilize these tools. Now, let me know if you have any questions. I would love to answer your questions. Um, you can write it or you can speak. And I'm sure your question, probably so many of you guys have the same question. But if we keep, uh, and some of you guys have now know that what these collaboration tools all about. Now I know some professors is probably they using few of them, and this is where I wanted you to use the 3 of them or the 4 of them. Beside Moodles, I will be publishing these classes on YouTube. I'll send you the link as usual. I will send you the notes. I will send and use these Padlets, Yammer, and Facebook to share the information with each other. That can help us to move uh, so quickly with the sharing and learning together. This is a class that we're supposed to learn together. I will learn from you as well as you learn from me. We are all one team and all of us will do well. Now, there is one more thing that I would like to make an announcement. Some of you are worried about when you are 5 members of the group, some of you are worried that the fact one of the member would not be working up to the standard. I understand that. But here's where I'm going to solve it for you. End of the semester, you're all going to send me a confidential report about your team. How did you work? And accordingly, if somebody says, okay, I'm going to just take naps and let the rest of the team work, make sure that I'm fully aware of that. So that can help in setting up my expectation. Now, not only one person, if I have 5 people and 4 of them saying, Mr. X did not work with us, then I understand he did not work. But out of these 5 people, if one person only says Mr. X did not work with us, I need to investigate on that. So make sure the whole team work together. Now, you don't have to be working in the same level. Some of you good in presentation, some of you good in research, some of you good in ideas. So you need to sit together uh, in the collaboration tools and divide the job. Now, it could be using the Zoom, using I don't know, whatever the tools that you find is beneficial for you. So, end of this class, I will send you these links where you need to add on and discuss these matters. So, next class we can move faster. Uh, Next class we will have some quizzes, and we will talk more about your final assignment, more about your questions, exams, and tests, and all these things. Any question? Ask me. Don't worry about it. You're still allowed to ask me any questions comes in the mind. I'm not a, I would be glad to answer all your questions, even if it's a repeated question. Please ask me. Don't worry about it. Okay. Let me, probably soon we'll be taking a very quick break. Um, Management structure and reward philosophy. An entrepreneurial orientation toward the management structure is organic with a few layers. They are more flat organization. Here is a tip came to my mind that you can utilize. If you can dig into my marketing research class, there is every group gonna do a marketing research class assignment. Now, when you do your final assignment, it's about a proposal for an business plan, which is, as I said in the first class, entrepreneurship is the mother of all the businesses. So when you do a business assignment, it's part of it going to be a marketing research, marketing plan. So you can utilize my other classes. So if you're in one of your members of your team is taking marketing research class with you, please cooperate with him to utilize that whatever is resulting from his course. That saves you time and effort, by the way. Now, so back to this course. So most the entrepreneurs companies are flat companies, and they don't have so many layers in the management. A traditional company is a structured and it is not very efficient to go the information up and down. It takes so much. So that's the difference between an entrepreneurial company and not. The traditional companies are reward based. It's not on responsibilities and not on the accomplishment. So you see how fun, the more you produce in entrepreneur companies, the more you make money, the more you get promoted, the more you reach to the management. The less entrepreneur companies, they don't care. End of the month, you're going to get your salary. Most of the government organizations are non-entrepreneurs, definitely. The entrepreneur, the companies are mostly a growth oriental, and they're very rapid. They will check right away if you're not producing in this plan, they can cancel it and move on and come up with a different plan. they're very culturally distinguished than the traditional one. Uh, I believe most of the companies that I run to in India, especially in the field of IT, they are entrepreneurial. Now, entrepreneurial, you don't have to come up with a new product. You can come up with a horizontal expansion or vertical expansion, moving to different countries. And these are, it could be a more fun. Um, uh, Most of the time when they would tell me why you're working for this company, I say, well, I know why I'm working for this company. They say, what? They said, well, this company needs a soldier who can help them to survive in this market. So I am the one who is in the front line to help them to expand in a new market, to bring them a new product. And this is where I find my edge. This is how you feel about it. And you are in a very good position to be like that, to help other companies to come in North America, or in North America to go to other companies. How many, I know so many Indian companies that they are very much interested to do for them a business development, or to set up a branch for them in Canada and USA. So there are so many opportunities with the entrepreneurial companies. Now, so the differences is like they are organization operates on a frontier of technology. These are entrepreneurial. New ideas are always encouraged. Trial and errors is always encouraged. So if you make mistakes, is fine. Failure is allowed. One of the small tricks that you can find an entrepreneurial company from non-entrepreneurial company. Usually you find companies who is, um, they put a lot of emphasis on leisures also, relaxing, a place to, like a company that I used to work for, we had a hotel inside the company, a few rooms, well established to go and take naps there. Uh, 20 years ago, we had a workout room. Um, we did fly from different countries, from over 20 countries, just to play a ping pong with each other. With this playing a ping pong tournament, we were able, and everything is paid by the company, we were able to share knowledge. We were able to expand the businesses. We were able, you know, and the fun thing, the first tournament, I end up beating my boss. I won, but he didn't like it, but it's like, my bad luck, I end up beating him in the ping pong. So the company will be spending things on encouraging new ideas. It's okay to fail. The failure are allowed. And no opportunity parameters. Resources are available and accessible for you. One person can be doing more than one thing. Um, uh, for example, I was one of the people who expanding businesses for that company. So when I fly to another country, I was the business developer, I was the salesperson, I was the project manager for the first, and sometimes the functional consultant for the first project. And once the first project generated businesses, we start building the teams. So this is how it works sometimes. So it's a beautiful environment. You will enjoy it very much so. Now, we will take a break after this slide, um, and we'll be back. Uh, Probably now it is 30. We'll be back in say 4:45, if probably 10 minutes from now, or make it 4:50. We'll be back in a 4:50. So you guys take a break, and we will be back in a 4:50 to finish this chapter. Okay, now. Okay. Now, where did we stop? We stopped here, and we spoke about leadership characteristic of a corporate entrepreneur. Once again, just a small announcement for your CVs. I'm still waiting for you guys to send us the CV, your CV. And if you don't have a CV, please get it ready. I think there is a class that you can take this. Whomever is in that class, you should have some CV ready. If it's not, you make a small amount, about your work or your plan, and then you add your picture on it and send it to me, please. Some of you guys have not send us the CV. So this week, it is important for me to know who am I talking to. Now, if your bandwidth is helping you to use your screen, so I see you alive, that would be wonderful. If you cannot, you can have your picture there only. But it would be nice if I can see people who am I talking to. Now, okay, wonderful. So here is what we were saying. A corporate entrepreneur understand the environment. They must be a visionaries leaders, and they must be a flexible and create a management options. So they will create kind of a department that will be probably it's a special department that their job is entrepreneurs. And sometimes you find them in the within the part of the marketing department or the sales department, or the separated in the management. And they give a good company with the entrepreneurship mentality. They wanted to minimize the routine for these people to think better, to think faster, and to be a more open. So these are the characteristic of a good a corporate entrepreneur. The way you establish a corporate entrepreneur, as we said, there is lots of traditional companies, and these traditional companies, eventually, some of them who's a small, they will die or they will stay small. And the big ones, who is a traditional, they have a tendency of buying somebody's else. And you, in 6-7 years, stopped 6-7 years ago, there was a huge trend of companies, IT companies buying a new IT company, smaller IT company for a big chunk of dollars. And the reason is because the small ones became more entrepreneurs, and they developed their own application. And these applications were so much contributing. Some others, like Oracle, they knew right away they're losing the market. So they invested so much of buying others, big companies. And when they took over other companies, they did one of the things, or they killed that company and their application, or they did use it for their own to sell. Now, for example, billions of dollars paid for PeopleSoft, because these PeopleSoft was a flexible and entrepreneur mentalities. a company that I was working for it, um, um, you know, they were kind of an entrepreneurs also. So Huawei ended up paying $1 billion to buy 1,000 employees, plus the application, plus the accounts that associated with these application. That's telling you this company did not invest $1 billion, but end up selling their part of the one third of their business with a $1 billion. So entrepreneurs, the payoff is a lot. There is a failure in it, but there's a big business. So the first step is to secure top management commitment to a partnership, to entrepreneurship. The second, you identify the areas of interest. So are you expanding horizontally, vertically, new products? You identify these interests and make money available and investment in it. Uh, Use the third step that you need to use the technology to make the company more flexible. By the way, these you're not supposed to even these are the characteristics that you need to know about these companies. The fourth is interested in managers will train the employees. One of the problem that lots of managers will go through a training and they will take a trip to do that training, but when they come, they don't share this knowledge. What did they learn? And this is the biggest mistakes that any company can take, that's sending people to get to train, and when they come back, they're not utilizing. The fifth things that you need to develop a way to get closer to a customer. You need to understand your customers, what they're looking for. So this is through a marketing research. It can be a very good tool to understand your customer very well. Um, the sixth, learn to be more productive with the fewer resources. As I said, one person, there is people always you can find who can do more than one task. They might not doing it 100% perfect, but they can deliver 90% of it, 95%. As I said, one of the entrepreneurs for the previous company, it was me. Um, I was, going to a country, a new country, setting up their new business, expanding their business, setting up an office for them, working with a multiple role as a sales, pre-sales, consultant, and a project manager. I do all these things. So you need these type of people who have lots of skills if you're providing service. But if you're providing products, you need to make sure that your products on time, delivered in the right place, and also at a very low cost for delivering these. Then the seventh thing, you need to establish a strong support structures, which is, um, you have a kitchen where you work there, but you need to set it up in a way that the front desk, back desk, front office, back office, where the things gets developed. For example, expanding our businesses in One Global, we had the kitchen in India who developed the application. We have the customer care was in Egypt. We had the chief operating officers working in Canada, from Canada, supervising the teams in Middle East, in some countries in Middle East, and this is kind of divided with a very strong structure. So we exactly when we start that we know who's supposed to we talk to, what time and when. Um, Tie the reward to performance. So if it's an entrepreneur mentality an employee has and he doesn't get paid for it, if he's helping to expand, see what first of all he is there for the money and for the recognitions and for promotion and all these things. So a company should tie the rewards to the performance, but in the same time, this company should not be you know, not feeding his own people. So lots of companies have a tendency of, bringing entrepreneurs, but they're not paying them enough to be entrepreneurs. Lots of companies looking for entrepreneurs. And believe me, if you're thinking of that, you will do really well. You will find easily your job interviews would be very smoothly. You just show that you're willing to do that. And the final thing, allow the successful units to expand and the unsuccessful unit to be eliminated. That doesn't mean you can, if you are in a unit that is failing, you're going to get fired. No, you're just going to be moving from one unit to another unit and keep doing the same probably work because you're already gaining from your previous experience. One of ways of making an entrepreneur a good one, who the one who can really utilize his failing experience and have them, support, provide the support for next adventures. Just want to check if there is any question. Yeah, hi. No problem. Okay, so these are the tools that really make moving a company from a traditional company to an entrepreneur company. Now, once again, it could be made of two people and they have the entrepreneurship mentality, or could be made of 100,000 and there is a department of entrepreneurship inside it, like a Xerox, like a 3M. These are all are working on invention. Imagine a post-it by 3M. Did the post-it contribute to the 3M survival? Yes, it did in the beginning. So they are realizing that this is a invention, expansion is a very important for a survival. Now, one study found out the new venture start within a new corporation, it takes longer. And usually people who's in this corporation working as entrepreneurs, it does they are slower and they make less. But that's the thing, is once you are individual or a very small team, is very flexible. So it grows faster. And also you're not running to too many, bureaucratic things. So that makes it, the smaller, the better. As I said, for example, the 3Ms, also they talking nicely about it, allows the employees to devote percentage of their time to be independent in the independent project, but took them 10 years who came up with the idea of Post-it to make it marketable, because there were rejections within the 3M to make the Post-it marketable. So it's true that they might have a department of entrepreneurs or have people who's in charge of expansion and growth and all these things, but in the same time they might have things restricting them. Now, we all try to learn from our failures. I want to probably start something, a video for you to look at it. Some of us once they fail into probably a project, they will give up. And the best things is to do is really to do a dual process model of coping, because most of us will feel negative, will stay in, will say we're not going to do it, and you go to another project and you fail in it, and then it's kind of residue take you down, and you say, okay, I'm not going to make it as an entrepreneur, or I'm not going to make it, so let me get a job and start working, just make my ends meet and have fun. So here is the way of coping with this, how you can turn this earlier failing to a successful one, and to help you. So I'm going to play a small video from a psychologist who can really, we will discuss this case maybe after this video, and we can take this part of it also on the next class.
I want to talk to you about something called the dual process model. And this is a little exercise I'm going to give you. So with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross stages kind of pushed away, and new research and new approaches have been coming in over the last 30 or 40 years. One of those approaches is called the dual process model. And what that means is during grieving and mourning, it is normal for you to vacillate back and forth between what they call loss orientation and restoration orientation. So loss orientation means you're focused on your loss. So if you're in loss orientation, you're laying in bed with covers over your head, you can't get up, you can't go to work, you're screaming at everybody you know, you can't get along with your spouse anymore, you're just in this dark, dark, deep pit of rage and anger. And everywhere you go, all you can think about is your loss. I'm going to give you an example of that. I gave a talk at a TCF Christmas candle lighting event a few years ago. And a man came up to me, and this is what he said. He said, my son was murdered 6 years ago, and I'm very angry, and I want everybody to know about it. So when I'm out in the world at a grocery store or a bank, and the teller or the clerk says to me, have a nice day, sir, I say to her or him, I never have a nice day. My son was murdered 6 years ago, and I never have a nice day. And the poor little clerk says, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And the guy says to her, you would never understand until it happens to your child. This man at a TCF meeting actually came up to me and told me this. This is an extreme example of loss orientation. He lives completely in his loss. Now, there may be times during his day where he pops out of that mode and moves to restoration. Remember, we're calling it restoration and not recovery, where he starts to restore. So maybe one day he goes and he plays golf with a friend. And for a couple of hours, he gets a little respite and he's not angry. That's the restoration period, you see? Or maybe he's not a good example because he's so extreme, but let's still stay with him. He goes home and he decides it's finally time to take this kid's clothes out of the closet and start giving them away. Or he starts socializing again. Or maybe it was his wife. Now I'm moving to another character. His wife died. And statistically, we know that in old age, men tend to die before women. There's a lot more single women than single men out there. And statistically, we know that elder widowers tend to get married again within a year. And so let's say this widower starts to date and goes on Match.com. That's restoration orientation. He goes on a date. He doesn't like the woman he was with. She's nothing as good as his wife. He comes home and he cries himself to sleep. That's loss orientation. Healthy grieving allows you to go back and forth between those things as much as you need to. 10 times a day, 100 times a day, 100 times a week, whatever it takes. The key is that you keep it moving. You see? If you stay too long in loss and you're not having those periods of respite and orientation, you're going to get stuck into complicated grief, which we can talk a little bit more about a little bit later. So I want to show you a little tool that you can use during the holiday season. I'm going to share my screen now, Brian. So I just click share, right? It is. All right. Can everybody see that?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay. So this is a little chart. I'm going to send you a blank version of this in the email after we're done here. And I'd like you to keep track of yourself as you go through loss and restoration focus throughout the holiday season. So I just made this up a couple of hours ago, just for an example. So let's say it's December 19th. I had to shop for a gift for my nephew. Crowded streets, high prices, extremely depressing. I hate my nephew. I hate Christmas. I hate everything. So here we've got these two columns, L for loss and R for restoration. Obviously, this is a loss experience. The next day, I went to a winter solstice party. There was a candle ceremony. There were prayers for bringing the light back. I felt hopeful for the first time in a while. Obviously, this goes in the R column, restoration. Next day, you decided to put up a Christmas tree. You weren't going to do it this year because it was too depressing, but something made you say, all right, I'm going to do it. The decorations made me so sad, but my son loved Christmas, so I kept thinking that he was with me, helping me decorate the tree, and it helped. Now, this is both loss and restoration at the same time. And I use this example because my son really loved Christmas, and we have lots of happy memories, and we have all these little decorations that he made. He died in September, and I did the Christmas tree in December, as painful as it was, because I knew that if he was there, that's what he would have wanted to do. And I didn't want to ruin Christmas forever for myself, because I was, 54 years old, and I had a lot of years to live, and I just didn't want to carry that dark stain. So what I would do is I'd take the little ornaments out of the box, and I'd look at something that he made, like the little kid's handprint, they make when they're little, and I'd sob, and I'd hang it on the tree. And then I'd find another little thing, and I'd laugh because it was so cute and so dorky and funny, and I'd put that on the tree. So in the whole process of doing the Christmas tree, I would go back and forth between loss and restoration 35 times. And that is a beautiful, beautiful process. And if you feel ready to do that, I urge you to do it. Don't do it alone if you think it will be too difficult. Invite a friend over, pop a bottle of champagne, and make it a beautiful, joyous thing. So that's December 21st. So here we are now December 23rd. And a friend came over and made me go for a hike with her. We talked and laughed. We didn't even talk about my loss, and it was nice. It felt good to get away from it for a few minutes, but I also felt guilty for feeling good about that. So this is definitely in the R column. This is restoration. Is the guilt in loss, or is it in restoration? I say it's part of restoration, because you're recognizing the movement of energy. Yes, we do feel guilty for moving on. If you're that widower and you find a new wife within a year after your wife of 50 years died, you're going to feel guilty. But you're going to also have to heal. And your wife may or may not have wanted you to ever remarry. Hopefully she didn't make you do a deathbed promise that you'll never remarry again. But the guilt is part of what we have to struggle with. And you know what we do with our guilt? We honor it. And we accept it, we bless it, and then we release it. And I'm going to show you some tools for doing that. Okay. Next day, same day, when I got home from the hike, I cried for an hour. I don't want to let go of my pain because it means I'm letting go of my son or my husband or whoever. And of course, that is absolutely loss restoration. And here we are the next day, we go to a Christmas party. Lots of new people there who didn't know about my loss. I felt like an outcast But then I started to notice that it kind of felt good to be with people who don't know my story, who don't approach me with pity in their eyes. It was a good new feeling. Maybe I don't have to identify so much with my sad story. That is a beautiful 100% restoration experience. And now you're beginning to see, you know, when you are around new people, so the people who know you and the people who know about your loss, they're always going to greet you with that heavy knowingness. They don't quite know how to act around you. They don't know if they should try to cheer you up or just be sad with you, because as we talked about earlier, they don't know how to act with grief. But if you're around new people and these people know nothing about you, they don't know who died, they don't know what you lost, you get to see yourself in a slightly different way. You see yourself the way they see you, not as a person who's carrying this huge burden of loss, but as just a person who's having an interesting conversation about whatever. So that's a really good restoration thing. Now, you may not feel like going out and meeting new people, totally understandable, but little by little, you're going to venture into that world. Let me open the chat box again. I don't have that here.
So I think this is it's much easier to understand that when we are failing in a project, in an entrepreneurship project, if we do this dual process, loss and restoration, it will enable us very quickly to move on to a new project. Now, as we said, failing is a part of entrepreneurship. You might fail 5 times, and the 6th time you will become a millionaire, or you become a free, independent, enjoy your time. But to move on from a fail to a new project, you need to know these tools to do it. So she was very good in explaining how we do this process of moving from one failing project to a successful one. So when I was doing lots of um, um, probably activities in entrepreneurship, and I was enjoying it so much, I can guarantee you that I failed in a few of them. And they never stopped me. But when I moved to the new project, I also managed to utilize the failing part. But you have to move on, and to move on, you need to do a loss and a restoration a process for it. Um, Now, so I'll probably, if you, we I don't, we have it 10 minutes, and what I will do, I'm just gonna uh, break you into rooms, and this is, it doesn't, it's not your groups, it's a new group, just to talk among yourself about um, a question that I will send to you. And please, let's discuss it on the next class, because part of the entrepreneurship is lost. Part of the entrepreneurship is hard time, but the reward is a greater, much stronger once you move on and open your own business. You open your own store, you open your small spot where you make money, or you're working with somebody who putting his money and you're putting your effort, and things is growing, and you see them growing. It's like a very wonderful feeling. So I'm going to break you into rooms, and I will send you a questions. Please discuss it among yourself, and we will be talking about it next class. Um, Now, please join the rooms. Okay, I will send a question.
ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਬਣ ਗਏ ਮਤਲਬ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁਣ ਬਣੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਾਈ ਇਹਨੇ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਕਰਵਾਏ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਉਹੀ ਆਂਦਾ ਵੀ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰ ਲਓ
Yes. Hi. Okay. Okay. I think most of you are back. So these are the questions that is crucial for all of you to know. If you're in a business and you end up losing that business, how I'm gonna make sure I keep on doing my entrepreneurship, getting into other business. And once you are there, you're probably
Hello.
getting,
Hello, Professor.
yes,
Sir, I have a concern about that I have to make the group of 5 people,
okay,
and I can mail you that 5 people names and with ID.
sure, you can do that. When
Okay.
it's your team, is fine. You can send me with your IDs and the 5 people, and you make
Okay.
sure
Okay.
they are CC'd in it, so they are aware that
CC me.
no, you when
Yeah,
you
yeah, sure, sure.
yeah, the rest of the team is CC, so it's a one
Okay,
communication to
sure,
the whole thing. So
sure, sir.
this section we will repeat it again and again because I think this is where probably as as a as a um, as an entrepreneurs, as a businessman, you will be failing. If you say I'm not going to fail, I'm sorry, you will be failing. So how do you get out from this failing feeling with a positive to the next stage? And I, I know one person now. I can tell you, he works in Vancouver. He is the owner of a very big company right now. Eh, he kept failing, going bankrupt, losing businesses. Now he has the biggest company who does, uh, it was rated the number 6 in British Columbia as an entrepreneur company, and now have over 300 employees, technical employees. But he kept failing from one to another one until he reached to that position. But he knew how to get out from the old one to move on to the next one. So we will continue next class on utilizing how to get out from this situation, and we will continue from there. Now, once again, I will send you this class, publish it on YouTube. I will send you the link. I will send you the Padlet, the Yammer, the Facebook. Please join, and we will start with the first stage where you are telling me or allocating a full team, and use these tools as to be a collaboration tools. They are very important that you are sharing knowledge, so it helps us move so much. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll respond any question that you have, but feel free to leave.